Welcome to Spider-Verse Minute, the tri-weekly podcast where we watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1 minute at a time. I'm Sean Slater.
And I'm his sister Caroline.
And today we're watching minute 111, which opens with who the imagery and animation are by, and ends a minute later with the pipeline.
I've titled this minute, Let the Names Continue.
Yes, we got a bunch more names in this minute. I'm going to start off with the number of people in the different departments. Last time I was just numbering the big ones. This time I realized I probably should just count everybody in the departments because it's a little bit better. So the first group of people we have are the modelers. And in that department, we have 14 people working on them. And those are just like the people making the 3D models for things. That then we move on to the 11 people in character setup, and then 46 people in layout, and then we get the first monster of a team, which is the 170 people involved in the animation, which makes a lot of sense because this is an animated film. The last group that we have in this minute is the 15 people involved in the pipeline.
Well, it's a good thing you brought up the animators because that transitions perfectly into my notes, and by notes I mean our name counter. No exact my names. But we got one Shawn spelled the way Shawn spells it. It is Shawn Peterson.
Yes, and I took a look through one of his demo reels that he has to see if he had pointed out the specific things he worked on, and he worked on some of the good scenes. I mean, they're all good scenes, but...
the good scenes.
All of them.
As compared to the other good scenes.
No, some of the really, really good scenes. I don't know exactly what all he worked on in these. It's just, this is scenes he touched his hands in. And they are the scene when the spider people come to tell Miles that he's not going to be the one to turn off the collider. And it's when he tucks in Genki and turns around, and then when hit the line when he's tell them I can do this, and he's got to make Kingpin pay, when Miles is saying those two lines, and then after he becomes Spider-Man and blasts off all the webs, the bit where he turns uninvisible and leaves, is walking towards the camera, he works on that. And then he also worked on the Aaron's death scene. There was a couple bits in there, and when he first met Gwen, tells her that he's Miles, and then when Gwen gets her hair cut, he worked on the Miles bit from that.
So what you're saying is he did a lot of the emotional scenes.
Yeah. And there's a couple other just bits here and there, but those are the ones he's also worked on a couple other animated films. He worked on the Emoji Movie, as well as the Smurfs movie, and a couple others that I don't remember off of the top of my head.
Well, that was one for Shawn.
Yes.
And then while we had no exact names for me, we did have a other spelling / variation of my name, which was Carolyn Vale, another one of the animators.
Yeah, so some of the work that she did in the movie involved the final fight scene when Kingpin did the ground stomp and smashed and the glass wave came up. She worked a bit on that. She also worked a bit on some of Doc Ock in the typing on her computer, and Peter and Miles swinging through the forest. Mm-hmm. She also did some other work in the Missing Link and the Box Trolls and Kubo and the Two Strings, as well as also doing some animation for Amazing Spider-Man 2, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, Smurfs 2, and a couple other, and the original, or not the original, but the Smurfs from 2011, as well as some other animation work in a mix of live action and animated films.
Nice.
Yeah. Both of them today have good resumes.
Yeah.
And speaking of just the animators, I want to mention one of the things that I was listening to to help get the notes on this, and that was the animator's commentary, which wasn't part of the original DVD, but was just a MP3 track they released somewhere. I had just Googled animator's commentary and found this on some site that was here it is. So, but and it's a lot lower budget. So the people on that track include the animation supervisor, Josh Beveridge, as well as the associate production manager, Sam Marks, and then the lead animators, Philip Rudolph, Humberto Rosa, Julie Goslin, and Jeff Panko, I think. But yeah, it sounds like they totally just went into a conference room and were just okay, let's crowd around this single mic and just give our thoughts on it, because you can hear them putting coffee cups down and it's not a recording booth they went into for this, but sometimes some of the people are hard to hear, and but it was still really fun listening to it and going through that and just getting their feedback on all of the movie. It was really cool. It's a little tricky to do because it's not part of the track, so you have to hit play on the movie and the MP3 of it at the same time and hope they line up. They do a little countdown in the beginning so you know when to hit play, but sometimes it gets out of sync. These past 15-20 minutes of the movie, the track has been a couple seconds off. Yeah, so some of the we talked about the box office yesterday, and some people use that to judge how good a movie is. Today I just want to point out some of the awards. I think we might have done this in the beginning, but
we've talked about maybe one or two of them, but I don't think we went into a full deep dive.
Yeah. First, scores, audience scores. The score on IMDb is an 8.4, and the score on Metacritic is an 87 right now, about just over 2 years after release, so it'll kind of stay there for a while. I think it's fair. It's a good movie. Yeah. If anything's above a 6 for me, I'm okay, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, some of the awards it won, in the Academy Awards, it got the Best Animated Feature Film, which is really good. And
I actually have a quick fun story for the Academy Awards / the Oscars.
Yeah.
That they got nominated for the Oscar while I was still in college, and going to a performing arts school, something both campuses did, was that we would always there were the Tonys and then the Oscars. And for both award shows, we would have a predict your winners, and whoever got the closest would end up getting some sort of prize. And my friends and I, we got into not heated debates, but often quite a few debates on whether or not Spider-Verse was going to win. Because it's the Academy loves Disney. Disney's gonna win. Disney always wins. And I was one of the people I think Spider-Verse is gonna take it. Partially because I hoped Spider-Verse would take it. But it would be very fun. It was very fun debating because it would always come down between Disney and Spider-Verse. No one really cared about whatever the other two were.
It was up against Incredibles 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Isle of Dogs, and Mirai.
Mm-hmm. I love stop motion. I didn't see Isle of Dogs. The Academy, never awards stop motion, or rarely does. If Disney's in there, Disney's winning. But I'm I think Spider-Verse has a shot.
They had both a Disney and a Pixar film up that year, so it was really big. So since 2010, so going back basically the past 10 awards, all but 2 of them are Disney Disney / Pixar films. It's the other one being Rango in 2011, and then Spider-Verse in 2018. Otherwise, it's all Disney Pixar films that won those.
Yeah, Disney Pixar. And I remember when I came in, because the one person I debated it was always friendly debates, I swear. When we would debate it was with coworkers too. So the next day after the Oscars, I went up to her and go guess Spider-Verse won. It was a fun time.
Yeah. Some of the other awards it won are it got Best Motion Picture Animated in the Golden Globes and Best Animated Feature Film in the BAFTAs, as well as winning the Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation long form.
The Hugo one really surprises me, I'm not gonna lie.
It doesn't really surprise me. Like, let me pull up that list again. Sorry. Oh, okay, maybe it does actually. So, yeah, because I was trying to think of like, oh, there probably wasn't that much that went up, but it was up against Black Panther, Infinity War, Annihilation, A Quiet Place, and Sorry to Bother You. So.
Oh, now I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
Dang, go Spider-Verse.
It is a superior to all of those. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, the Hugo Awards are sci-fi fantasy focused awards for like all media pretty much. So not just movies, but books, comics, TV shows, stuff like that.
Just to give a quick bit of history, because I think this is interesting. They were named after Hugo Gernsback, who was the founder of the pioneering science fiction magazine Amazing Stories. So, like, it was a big thing that really helped bring science fiction literature and, like, the stories into the... I don't know if the mainstream's the right word, but maybe, yeah, more into the mainstream and into, like... Right? Is that the right word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like, well, the point is they're named after him because he was a huge pioneer in the science fiction genre and just bringing it to light and all this stuff. So they named the Hugo Awards after him. Fun history factor. And they started in the 1950s. Just some fun history. Now you know.
And then just the other awards I wanted to point out are the Annie Awards, which are like the Tonys for animation, or Oscars for animation. But, and yeah, so they got Best Animated Feature in that, as well as winning a bunch of outstanding achievement for X in animated feature production, X being 6 categories: the character animation, character design, directing, production design, writing, and editorial. So they got a lot of awards from them as well, and the people working on it.
Dang.
Yeah, those were just some of the select awards I wanted to pull out.
All well deserved, I believe.
Oh yes, definitely.
In my opinion.
That's all I had for this minute.
Yeah, that's all I had as well. Thank you all for joining us this week. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can find us on Twitter at SpiderverseMin, M-I-N, or you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Spiderverse Minute. If you'd like, you can shoot us an email to podcast@spiderverseminute.com. Catch you next week, and until then, thanks for listening.
Bye.